Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into possibly one of my favorite maps in this set, Gold Rush. The reason why I like it so much is it's just so unique. It's just such a unique land map that we don't have this type of map on any other map. If you go through all the land maps, Blue Lagoon, not like this. Frozen Waste, not like this. Watering Hole Marsh, completely different. Savannah, everything is very, very different to this map. I still don't have a solid idea of what is the best here. Could be Isis, could be Loki, could be Zeus, could be anything. It could also be incredibly balanced as well. To be honest, it could be incredibly balanced as well. I genuinely just do not know. So we'll have to wait and see what these guys are going to pick moving into to game number 3. Kavoth, honestly, I feel like Kavoth has been playing out of his mind this series thus far. Shadowfax pulled it out last game, managed to stay composed after the kind of tragic start here after Kavoth completely dismantled him in game number 1. Managed to stay composed, got the win in game 2. But moving into game 3, we'll have to wait and see what these guys are going to pick. Kavoth has still got his Chronos remaining. He's still got his Gaia remaining. And he's still got 2 of his Norses remaining. So we'll see if he's going to stick with his Norses here or go in with an Atlantean or show us something completely new as we are now launching into the game and we have something very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Thor. His name is Shadowfax. His opponent today in the red color playing as Thor as well. His name is Kavoth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not aware, Shadowfax is the recently crowned Fimbulwinter victor of the 3rd, and I believe he won the 2nd Fimbulwinter as well. So he is off the back. The last tournament he's participated in, I think it was Fimbulwinter. Maybe it was the Meta Play. I'm not 100% sure. But Shadowfax is the undisputed best Norse Mirror player currently in Age of Mythology. And it proved that on the tournament stage. And Kavoth picks Thor against him. Now, he doesn't actually know 100% that Shadowfax is going to pick a Norse god here. He doesn't know that for 100%, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. I think that this matchup is a cracker. I think the fact that there's no Heimdall in this matchup is also a really, really big thing. Because I think that Heimdall can kind of... I think that like if you throw Loki into the mix, I think things get a little bit kind of same-ish. Heimdall and you throw Odin into the mix, is kind of a little bit same-ish in everything. So it's like, for example, if it's like Odin versus Thor, you know the Thor player is going to be playing on the defense. You know the Odin player has to be aggressive. Loki versus Odin, you know the Loki player is mostly going to try and go for Hall of Thane's Herser, try and play defensive until he gets enough resources. As Shadowfax almost loses that villager there. That was almost crazy bad. We do see a pause there, but you know sometimes the lag happens and you just gotta roll with it. But 2 HP villager. If you're unaware of how the animal aggression mechanic works and the villager that it decides to go after, is that the animal will generally go after the lowest HP villager first. So if you know that, you just don't attack the animal with a low HP villager, just leave it idle, let everyone else attack, and then the animal won't attack the low HP villager, and you're going to be completely fine. But we do see, look at this, look at the HP of Kavoth's villagers, much higher, much nicer. Anyways, we'll see how things are going to go as the villagers now moving out onto the wood over here. I kind of like that Shadowfax is leaving his straggler trees for just a little bit here, but I think that he could afford to just chop down one more before he walks over here to save a little bit of walking time, allow him to... Oh, he's already got the temple up, so I guess it doesn't matter. But puts it down in the front of the base. I think one of the most important things in the mirror matchup, and I think Kavoth is going to be aware of this because I think he thinks a little bit similar to me, that I think the best place to build your buildings is where you're going to be hunting. That is the best place where you build to build your buildings, as in the Norse Mirror. Because what it allows you to do is it allows you to 100% defend your hunt. Your opponent is not, doesn't matter how close they build to you, there is no advantage to be had there on that location, and you should be able to defend with army and with the building, with the defender's advantage, and also with villages if you need to. And if you build in the close to your opponents and they build close to their hunt, then now you don't have villagers to help out in the fights either. Anyways, Freya going to be coming through here for Kvothe. No real surprises here. The only thing that is a surprise is Shadowfax advancing significantly faster than Kvothe. But is there somewhere which Shadowfax can actually get an advantage here? I'd love to see Kvothe move a villager back here and drag this Auroch back underneath Town Center Fire, because killing it over here could be a pretty bad decision, as Shadowfax is going to be able to put pressure on already here in this location. You see he's got Hersa out already. The Ulfsark spots this. The Freya Valkyrie will be moving in immediately here to put pressure on. Kvothe's Freya is going to be just that little bit far behind as his Hersa setting up over here. But, I mean, in the end, Kvothe will have to leave this hunt at some point. It's going to expire at some point as the Valkyrie does move forward. Going to start going after these villages, as the villagers do simply just retreat back, and he's going to be moving to a different hunt location, as Shadowfax also got a little bit of hunt remaining over here. Dwarves coming out, Oxcart coming out as this gold mine about to expire. We see the Longhouse coming through here as well, as the Forest Fire getting dropped down, and Kvothe immediate reaction, but his villagers get a little bit funkily placed there. Gets a little bit of damage onto one of those units, as the villagers will move back over onto this wood line, targeting down that low HP Gatherer. It's always a weak point there. Good play there from Shadowfax, but good reactions from Kvothe, as the Valkyrie will be shanking away, pushing them away. We do see the villagers now over onto this location over here as well, as Shadowfax 2 moving over onto his deer. Now, this map here, this Gold Rush iteration here is one of the lower hunt spawn. I haven't seen a hunt spawn this low here on this map, and that's because it's not that low. There's plenty of deer over here. A little bit of an advantage for Kvothe, you'd have to think, because the deer are all over this top side, so he doesn't have to move from one side to the other. But Shadowfax can simply just put these villagers onto a wood line over here and move these villagers over here up to the top side, and kind of have a similar situation where that's concerned. There's also a pair of golden lions here, which is such a huge relic to have in the mirror matchup, as Shadowfax's Valkyrie still moving around the map here. And this is what makes Kvothe so good, I've realized, is he just trades his units so well, keeps control of them. I say that as the Hersa comes through. Will he be noticing it? Yeah, it kind of takes a little bit too long there, but he only takes a little bit of damage, as the unit's going to be retreating back. Population differential right now. Kvothe with a slight advantage in this game. A very, very slight advantage in this game. 57 of 65 to 53 of 75, as Shadowfax is making Raiding Cavalry. So he's actually going for the stronger unit composition, but the slower to train unit composition here. So I definitely think is a decent idea, but we'll see what's going to happen. Is the Raiding Cavalry going to move over here, try and take down some villages? I imagine. Well, I like that play there from Kvothe. He doesn't turn around and fight. He just pulls into his Ulfsark, and the army just going to be retreating back. We do see the villagers over on this gold mine right now. Remember, it is 6,000 gold in the main base. And we'll see how things will motor ahead in this game. As Kvothe retreats back with his Valkyries, still making a ton of units over here as well, as the army comes through here for Kvothe. Getting a little bit out of position. He's going to be trying to speed walk back here, as he does manage to make that work. Now starting to get some throwing axemen out to deal with those Ulfsark, but this is the thing that Shadowfax does, and he does it really well. He only builds a handful of Ulfsark in this matchup, and then he goes into his Raiding Cavalry and his throwing axemen. So any throwing axemen really that Kvothe builds, probably not going to be that useful, to be honest. As the army moving forward here for Kvothe, you do see Shadowfax pulling all the way back. Another way of playing this matchup, which I think Norse players might want to consider, the army composition of Raiding Cavalry Ulfsark as an idea, instead of mass Ulfsark or Ulfsark throwing axemen, for example, wouldn't be a bad idea. We'll see how things are going to go. Now the villagers, they are moving up onto these berries. Looks like Shadowfax does know about these deer, but he's not moving over to them, which might be a big mistake here. But then again, so too does Kvothe not know that there's gazelle. Wait, He's actually, no, he's already eaten the gazelle. He's already on the second pack of gazelle. So that's obviously going to be a big advantage here for Kavoth as the raiding cavalry searching around. There's just nothing to raid here. And for what I would have thought is a really open map, Kavoth has managed to make this map feel very, very tiny. Very, very tiny, very, very constricted. As the Ulfsark does spot these deer over on that side, we see the army going to be retreating back. Dwarven army coming up here for Shadowfax. He's still producing units here. He's still got very low resources, but Kavoth, yet again, finding that his macro is on point in this game. I think a little bit of that does have to come to the villagers getting that hunt position over there. Shadowfax not moving over onto this hunt like he could have, but we'll see how it's going to go. More military buildings coming down for Kavoth. But, I mean, these raiding cavalry, they're still searching around, trying to find somewhere to attack. It's the army coming through onto this location here. Shadowfax got to be a little bit careful on this one to engage correctly here. As his raiding cavalry come in onto the back, we do see those throwing axemen getting caught out just a little bit over here as Shadowfax does manage to find a couple of attacks over here, getting some slight advantage, picking those ones off. We see Copper Mail of Thor coming through for Shadowfax to the medium infantry of Kavoth. This is always one of those peculiar decisions. Which one do you go for in this matchup? We've got medium infantry through. Copper Mail of Thor not through just yet, as Shadowfax going to simply just retreat back here, waiting on his upgrades. Still doesn't have himself his upgrades through just yet, but Mail does give him the survivability against these axemen or these Ulfsark over here, but that doesn't give himself extra damage here. But will it matter or not? As the raiding cavalry dealing with units in the main base of Kavoth over here, the army coming back over here, Shadowfax sitting with a bit of an advantage here thus far, but the throwing axemen starting to fall over here. That Valkyrie for Shadowfax still kind of alive in this fight here. 26 damage, making more Valkyrie over here as the throwing axemen retreating back onto that position. We see Kavoth having to pull back over here as well, as the population still very, very close here. Slight advantage to Shadowfax as he's going to be retreating away. Take a look at the upgrades here. Medium infantry only here, as you also see Copper Mail coming through already coming through for Shadowfax. That's the big turning point in this fight as Kavoth turns around, going to continue to try and take this one. He's going to have to pull back into his main base. This gold mine just about to expire, 600 gold left in it, but Shadowfax has found himself the advantage in this game, and he is going full send to try and finish this one off. As the Hearser falling over here, more units falling, not caring about the town center, 1 iota here, and Kavoth has to tap out in this game as Shadowfax claims a quick 2 victories to 1 in this series in the Thor Mirror. Obviously, Shadowfax being the crowned champion of the Norse Mirror, it's to be expected, but the fashion in which Shadowfax managed to find his advantage here is so minute. Kavoth was so far in front in this matchup, but he didn't throw the armory down, and he didn't get himself, he got himself like medium infantry, but the Ulfsark throwing axemen against the raiding cavalry throwing axemen, it's just not that big of an... The throwing axemen just do too much damage. So Shadowfax rightly realizes that it's better for him to get the raiding cavalry having more survivability in those fights than to give himself the bonus damage onto those throwing axemen, because they're already having a crazy good time against those Ulfsark. And in that moment, he makes that decision. It's such a high-level decision, and it allows him to carry through in that fight and just allow him to win there. Not only that, the beautiful micro and everything else to... Obviously, everything else coming... being equal here. He played it amazingly. Not only that, he was also had a more difficult map because Kavoth had all of this hunt up here to play with, but he just couldn't make it work in the end. GG, well played by Shadowfax. We've got a game number 4 coming up here. If you guys are enjoying it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.